Hey everyone, DJ or David Holt here, attorney and owner at Holt Law. We're at another office hours video, and what I'm going to go over in this video is our top 10 tech choices for how we got to seven figures or blew past $1 million in revenue as a law firm and as a business. And I think that these same uh, softwares and tech choices could be used in any business. They are not very specific to law. In fact, one of the reasons why I think we are growing a lot faster than other law firms is because we do not use legal software. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. I'm going to tell you what the 10 are, what they do, why we use them, and then also why there might be some pros and cons because there is no such thing as a perfect software. All right. First, should be sharing my screen and you are staring at ClickUp. What is ClickUp? So ClickUp is really a way to organize tasks. It's just like a task management system. But if you really dig into all the functionality of ClickUp, you can use it for things like lead tracking. You could use it for project management. You could use it as a place to internally store some of your documents. And also you could use it for employee onboarding. That's what we use it all at Holt Law. This would be a alternative to some of the more traditional legal softwares that are kind of combining this all into one. Pros, I think that it's very robust. It's highly customizable, so you can combine it with other things that you're already doing. It has a lot of add-ons and very user friendly. The free version actually is pretty robust, so you can try it without really committing to it. Should really get some sort of affiliate link, but we're just saying what we're using, and use it if you want. I don't really care. And I think what we like the most about ClickUp is it's a nice organized way for us to systematically break down our projects and know exactly where everything's at so we can give clients updates. We know internally, is our staff doing their job? Are they clicking the task so it goes to the next thing? And really keeps us organized. When we have 1,000 tasks going on and hundreds of clients at once, we can see everything that is available. So another pro is I would say if you do get the paid version, which we have, I think it's actually pretty affordable compared to other similar softwares. I will say as a con, very steep learning curve when it comes to automations, and that may be helped. They've added a little AI version. We'll see how good that does in the future here. The mobile app does not work well. Sorry, ClickUp. And while ClickUp does offer the free version, it's pretty limited in features. So I think right now, as of the recording in this video, the unlimited version, we use the business version, and I believe it's at about $12 per user per month. So that is ClickUp. Boom. Let's look at Calendly. Pretty well known scheduling system. Really, we're just using this as a very nice, streamlined, easy to use scheduling platform, and that's it. So, what we're trying to avoid here is all that back and forth and emails on, hey, are you available here? Or no, I'm not. Are you? How about these gaps? I used to spend so much time. I wasted so much time going back and forth just trying to get a time. And then lo and behold, someone has to cancel or reschedule an hour before the meeting. What I like about Calendly is it will automatically get somebody on the calendar. It'll send the updates. It sends how we're going to meet, usually linked to Zoom. And then it's going to, if somebody does need to cancel or reschedule, it's just going to pull your schedule back up again. So no big deal. You'll show on your calendar that it's canceled. Boom, they pick a new one. So we love this easy to use interface, very customizable, and it integrates very well with Zoom, which we're going to talk about next, and ClickUp. I would say again, another con of Calendly is there's a little bit of a learning curve at the very beginning. It just, if you haven't done automated scheduling like this, there's just a little bit of a learning curve. Um, I would say that some of the more advanced options and customizations are not currently available in Calendly. Calendly is just trying to be really good at appointment scheduling and not other things, which I can appreciate. It's just like our firm, we're just doing healthcare business law and not a bunch of other things. So I can appreciate that. The other softwares can do what they do best, but it's not a, one size fit all. Um, Also, the free version, very limited. So if you're looking at a paid version, right, we're looking at, $10 to $16 per person per month that is using it. So if you have a lot of staff and a lot of people being booked, that can certainly add up. Okay, video, Zoom. I think post COVID, Zoom really emerged as kind of the gold standard of video meetings. They now have the AI companion. You can record. Certainly, plenty of pros and cons to Zoom. It's definitely going to be our video needs. It integrates well with a lot of other softwares. It is HIPAA compliant as needed. Um, and really, it's just kind of your video recording, and this could be for healthcare providers, for law firms, really for anyone. Um, Again, another one of these cons is I don't find the Zoom setup to be very user friendly. They have a support's okay, but we have had a lot of weird issues with Zoom, even when we've been running and it seems like it's the same thing, and then all of a sudden, we'll have issues with the recording to the cloud, or a certain amount of people can only get in, even though we're at a very elevated plan. Um, I would say Zoom is starting to try to expand a little too much, I think, with like the add-ons and the subscriptions. It's getting a little overwhelming. And I'd love if they could just do their one thing well, which is just do the Zoom video. Also, I mean, I'm using Zoom to record this right now. You can see the video quality is good, but not great. It's a little chunky. And so even though I have like a really nice webcam, it's not going to be amazing video quality. And so for recording videos, there are a few other options, but just in like getting a video out, like what I'm doing now, Zoom will be just fine, just fine. It can also, you can maybe hear my computer here humming along. Zoom can really drain your laptop and cell phone batteries quickly, and it's using a lot of processing power. So especially when you get into a larger meeting, you're sharing your screen, and there's a lot of stuff going on, that baby is sucking up a little bit of bandwidth. So that would be one of the cons. I mean, I would also say cost can be a con. The pro and business plans are hovering around $13 to $18 per month. That's billed annually. And if you got a team of 16 to 20 like we do, that can really add up. So that'd be my analysis of Zoom, but working great so far. Zapier. Now, this is for the more advanced techie folks when you're really kind of pushing from 6 to 7 figures. I think if you're getting into advanced automation, I would consider Zapier. So, Zapier is a way to automate repetitive tasks between multiple apps without coding. So, it allows you to take information from one app, let's say phone numbers, names, or documents, and put them over into another app. Why is this really valuable? So your client comes in and they book an appointment and they put in their name and their email and maybe they upload some stuff. We don't want to have to manually copy and paste that and start putting it into legal documents, for example, or our client's information system if that wasn't the original form that they filled out. We want that to automatically happen in the background and for the apps to communicate with each other. And that's what Zapier accomplishes. Zapier, I don't know. I mean, I call it a Zap. So, however they want to identify, I'm going with Zap. And so each time there's one of those Zaps or one of those communication between the softwares, that is going to be, a Zap. And so that's the word. What we use it, I mean, honestly, behind the scenes, even like as I'm recording this, our softwares are communicating and sending out a bunch of information as clients are clicking and doing things, generally in ClickUp. And it really is making it easier for us to move quickly for the automations and focus more on the high kind of brain human level tasks rather than copy and pasting stuff into documents. And even with the use of virtual assistants, I still don't want a virtual assistant copying and pasting information if we can just do that and also do it extremely quickly. So the second that information goes in, it's being shot out, 100 times into, a bunch of different places. Con, this software has a very steep learning curve, very steep. It's not intuitive. They've tried for years. I would argue it's still a steep learning curve. I would consider myself somewhat tech savvy. We effectively have a director of operations that does know how to code, and that helps us greatly on how we've been able to integrate this and really uh, move and automate things a lot quicker. No mobile app. Customer service is, effectively non-existent. No offense, Zapier. And what happens when Zapier receives an update is it can actually ruin a lot of your Zaps and force you to manually have to recreate them. So, pretty harsh review, but we do use it, and we have a very high tier. You're paying thousands of dollars at our tier, but you can start with something way, way, way lower than that, and the free version, as opposed to the amount of tasks that we're doing here. Plus Doc. Let's move on to number 5 in our tech stack. So PlusDoc is just a client onboarding software for businesses. So it's helping onboard and then move through a workflow. So if someone's coming in, they're starting a business, a medical practice, a medical spa, it is going to, you know, go through the onboarding, fill out the form, then it takes you to the next step. We like it, and you'll notice a theme here in our software is we like softwares that do one thing really well. We have tried a lot of other softwares that I will not badmouth that try to do 40 things kind of well, and they end up doing none of them to a degree that you would want it if you're actually scaling your business and don't want issues. So we've really invested in software that only does one thing really well, as opposed to this, oh, we do everything. We do your invoice, we do your schedule. No, there is no software that does everything well based on my analysis. And I don't care what, those who are competing in that space would say. We have been through plenty of software, spent thousands of, probably tens of thousands of dollars on rebuilding and exiting from vendors where they say they do something and then all of a sudden they're always working on it. They're always fixing things, and you're the one that's just kind of still paying your monthly or annual dues, and you're trying to scale your business with a broken software. So we use ClusDoc here for just onboarding. It communicates with um, all of our other softwares, and that's one of the reasons that we like it. Okay, let's move on here. Again, ClusDoc does have a little bit of a learning curve. It's um, it does have limited features in the sense that it's only trying to do onboarding well, not as well recognized. It is, though, as a pro, very affordable and uncomplicated and to set up. The the pricing does move pretty high, I would say. We're moving into the platinum. We're talking about, 350 per month, if and that's billed annually. So you're looking more at, the $3,000 to $4,000 range, just for, that's a higher range, but that's a lot for an onboarding software. There is one lower one as well, but that's where we're at. Google Workspace. All right. So, email's version of the business side. So rather than generally an at Gmail, you have a, at Holt Law LLC. We love this. I love this. It now comes with the AI companion, which is now Gemini as an add-on. We use Gemini. That is our integrated AI software. We got email, secure email, HIPAA compliant. We got Google Docs, our Word document up on the cloud, and Google Sheets, so the spreadsheets, but up in the cloud. And Google Drive is a spot where we can securely handle and put client documents as a law firm. I love Google. I think that they do a great job. I think that it's actually very competitive based on pricing and what they do. And I am always happy with performance. The only thing that I didn't like in the Google Workspace was Google Meets. I think it has come a long way after we've left, hence why we picked Zoom. We were just having too many issues in Google Meets, and enough to the point where we said, you know what, we're out. But we still use just about everything else, and I'm very happy with how Gemini, the AI version, has been uh, overlaid on top of, email. So it'll give you a sample email. It'll summarize a document if you just click one button over on the right-hand side. Very useful for any business and widely used, convenient. It is customizable, so you can really get into the email. Also, I should note we also use Google Calendar, right? So The calendar system is what we are using on day to day to see what staff is doing what. And that links with things like Calendly for clients to book appointments in certain windows. Um, there are, of course, some cons. I would say not as compatible with other software like Microsoft Office. Google Docs can sometimes the formatting and just trying to interact with your desktop can get annoying. And I would say also the frequent updates when you have larger automations can affect the zaps and some of the other software that we're doing. But overall, fantastic and kind of a no-brainer for what I would start with if I was really for the businesses that I've started, I'm using always the Google Workspace. Ring Central, not a whole lot to say about this. It's fine. We use it for voice and text. That's it. It's HIPAA compliant. You can get an e-fax on there. So if you need a fax machine, but you don't want to buy like a big actual hardware fax machine, Ring Central does that. I think there's a lot of room for improvement for Ring Central, but they do the core things well. The calls are made, you can do call trees, you can text, the apps actually work on the desktops and the phones. And overall, I'd say the price is pretty decent for getting multiple lines and having them all work. What I found though for cons is that their support is just terrible. It's just not great. Um, I don't know. I think it's outsourced, and that's what happens when you pay a little bit less in price. I'd say the admin portal and the interface is not user friendly. It feels very clunky in, early 2000s. Also, a relatively steep learning curve to just, get it set up as compared to maybe Google Voice, which I see as an alternative or some of the others. Um, but pricing is very competitive. All right, number 8, Smith.ai. So Smith.ai, what I love about this is a way for to link into Ring Central and to have a receptionist, an on-demand receptionist. So when our team members are all on the other line, what it does is it rings through to a real person. And based on a lot of data out there, if you can get to a real person, you have a much higher chance of closing a deal. If it goes to voicemail, forget it. They're going to the next business. And so, at a bare minimum, having somebody pick up the line, what that does is it allows us to, at least at a bare minimum, take a message but have a human do it. Now, there is all of the rage about having an AI receptionist that, can effectively sound like a human and do some stuff. I'm not, you can see it right here, right? I'm not convinced that we're there just yet in September 2024, but I suspect we will be in the next few months. But for now, still, Smith.ai, great to have a backup receptionist. You can pay per month, per call. They have some pricing plans. It kind of depends, if it's like Costco, if you're buying on volume, it gets a little cheaper. Great way to have a real person answer the phone and hopefully convert more business sales. Also, they do have the chat box integration. So if there's a little chat box on your website, it'll pop up, somebody starts interacting with it. It will have an actual real human help respond to that person, and that can be in the middle of the night. This is a 24/7. So after hours, weekends, this is a great way to subsidize your phone lines, even if you are having a employee or employees answer those. Keep in mind these virtual receptionists, they're not like specific to you. So they're just going to follow scripts and say, hello, welcome to Holt Law. What can I, and they are just going to follow the specific rules. Just think of this as a way to take a very high level message and maybe reroute them to a contact form or to get transferred to another line. That's it. It's not like you have your dedicated receptionist sitting there just, virtually waiting for you. That would cost, way more to do. So Smith.ai. Number 9, Stripe. We use it for payment processing. It just works the cleanest, I think, amongst the payments that we've tried. Um, I think, Stripe really, I think, is a no-brainer. It just works so well. I also like the reporting and analytics of Stripe, so you can really see um, when you're doing invoicing or revenue reporting and all of that. Stripe works really well with that. It's just very easy, and you probably use Stripe for a lot of your transactions, probably the majority of them online, even with large business. Very easy to integrate, very easy, user-friendly interface, and pretty highly customizable. I think the cons, I mean, people are always going to argue about price. Like they're going to take nearly 3% of my transaction plus 30 cents. Like, yes, I mean, that's just how credit card company or payment processors work. And, welcome to the business world. As a side note, by the way, you should be eating that cost. You should never be pushing that cost onto a client because you're just going to piss them off and maybe lose a transaction. It's very unnecessary. If you're smart, you would just raise your prices by 3% if that really annoys you. The Another con here is going to be the learning curve. If you're trying to work in a lot of the high customizations and get a little more working for your business, then you're gonna get um, a little bit of issues, but that's really for any software, to be honest. I can't think of a software where we're highly customizing it and you don't run into a little bit of issues there. Um, Sometimes when you're doing this in person, there's been complaints that it's clunky, but all of ours is done remotely, so we don't have experience with that, but we have noted that complaint from some of our clients, very few. Last but not least, we move on to Canva. Canva's come so far in uh in the last 10 years. We use it for its graphic design, and really not only can it do graphic design, it can also do a little bit of video editing. So bare minimum, we're trying to get things up on social media. We're trying to get videos, maybe do a really nice presentation. Technically, it can help with some other things. They've layered on their little AI companion here. We love it. It does great. It's cheap slash free. The free version as a con is pretty limited. There aren't a lot of advanced tools, but I kind of like that um, because it's keeping things simple because you're not a graphic designer. It's trying to really subsidize that. And I would say also another con would be the customer support is not great, but really they've made it so user friendly. You shouldn't have a lot of um, customize or requests for support. So this has been the tech stack. I hope this was helpful. Please let me know what your tech stack looks like, especially if you're in the seven figures and beyond mark. I'd be very curious to hear, especially if you're a law firm owner, as to your equivalents of these in the legal industry. Hope this was helpful and